Trump thinks that there is a problem of political violence in this country, why on earth
would he say
are comments like these acceptable to you?
Sedition is a lawful process. You have to be tried and convicted in the court of law. He's not encouraging people. He's not saying this is Hitler.
But hold on a second.
These people are fascists.
You actually believe that Democrats putting out a video saying follow the law is sedition?
Terrible. I think it was terrible.
You think that's sedition?
And look, we've already seen Democrats weaponize
Terry, let me ask you a question. Do you think that Democrats putting out a video saying this is follow the law, don't follow illegal orders?
Why do you need to tell people to follow the law?
Do you think that is sedition?
What, everyone in the military knows you need to follow the law.
It is a yes or no question. Is it sedition to tell people to follow the law?
I think Democrats have a long and standing history of undercutting and undermining the Constitution.
I'm just saying you're not willing to say yes or no because it's very obvious that the answer is no. Because if that were the case, it's a wink and a nod. That's the reason. Their words are perfectly. It's a perfect video, but it's a wink and a nod, and it's all meant to undermine the President of the United States. The military does not have a right to undermine the chief. Hold on a second. In this country, you do get to undermine the President of the United States.
Not if you're in the military.
No.
He's the commander-in-chief.
If you are a member of Congress, you absolutely, in this country, have a free right to undermine the President of the United States. You know that, right?
The commander-in-chief.
The argument that the Democrats were making in that video, because the fact is the military is not obligated to follow illegal orders.
Who's giving the illegal orders? Where are they? Give me the example of the illegal orders.
The Democrats were saying specifically, you're not obligated to follow illegal orders. Period.
Okay, then what illegal orders are they talking about?
Well, they're just in the future,
just in case.
In the future, yeah.
Because you're
just in the case.
Because they're
right
all
now
crazy.
we have a judge
who's
all
crazy. No one's going to stop the midterms.
Trump's sending in.
Who just came up with the conspiracy theory that Republicans are going to stop the midterms? That's crazy. That's a conspiracy theory.
All right, we have to leave it there.
Boy. So we got to continue our coverage of what appears to be yet again another humiliating backfire against the Democrat Party. And this happens a lot because, again, Democrats don't know how to do anything except be agents of chaos, right? All they know is chaos and confusion, okay? And when all you know is chaos and confusion, yeah, that tends to backfire. And the latest scandal from Democrats is backfiring spectacularly in their faces. Which included senators and representatives that posted a video basically telling the military to disobey the president. Now, they claim that, well, we're just saying that the military shouldn't follow unlawful orders, except they never articulated exactly what are the unlawful orders that they should not follow, right? What unlawful orders is the president currently giving? They haven't articulated that.
Have you, Congresswoman, or any other of these Democratic members of Congress heard directly from members of the U.S. military or the broader national security community who believe they've been given unlawful orders?
Well, you know, what I'd say is I have heard from service members, and I have heard from service members, and this is all a matter of public record. What we see is an uptick of concern from the men and women who are serving in uniform about the legality of orders that are being given. And
what illegal orders are you urging troops to refuse, and what do you hope they take away from your message?
Alex, we love this country. We love our Constitution. It is our job as lawmakers, and especially in this moment, to be clear morally, to be clear legally, and simply and clearly stating what the law says, what the Uniform Code of Military Justice says. It's not a crime. It is not treason. It is not sedition. It is our job. And I think it's really important that we do our job.
And because of that, again, they're getting a whole lot of backlash. You have veterans that are speaking out about this and saying that Democrats, yes, they are trying to get the military to disobey the president. Like, this is what they're trying to do.
Mike Rogers, proud to serve as an officer in the United States Army.
My name is Creston Shield. For 4 years, I served in the United States Navy.
Jason Mickelborg from Portage, Michigan. I served in the U.S. Army for 8 years.
Chris Patton. I was in the U.S. Army. I was a Sergeant E5.
Democrats want service members to walk away from their oaths.
Democrats are disrespecting our country.
Democrats are disrespecting our military.
They want people to abandon their duties.
They're sowing chaos, undermining the chain of command, and signaling it's okay to pick and choose which orders to follow.
They are openly calling for our military to disobey orders.
These jerks want lawlessness in our street.
These Democrats, the radicals, the lawlessness.
It has to stop.
let's get to the content of what you had in that video you released, because there are also 15 House Republicans who are also veterans who released a video, including a retired 3-star Marine Corps General, Jack Bergman. Take a listen to this.
Troops, listen up. Any service member who refuses a lawful order is subject to court-martial for violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
We study what's lawful and what's not lawful, and the Democrats' stunt insinuating that they're illegal or unconstitutional orders, it's downright dangerous.
It is corrosive. It is meant to weaken our country and weaken the military.
How do you respond to these allegations from your colleagues, fellow veterans, that what you have put out there is weakening and corrosive to the military?
Well, these unfortunately are some of Trump's core supporters that are rallying behind the president, and they know better. They know exactly the difference between lawful versus unlawful. We were very clear in the video that what we're talking about is unlawful orders. You have the president's spokesperson going into a press conference this past week and saying that we called for people to disobey lawful orders. They're simply lying because the truth is unacceptable to them. It's unacceptable. We wanted to start a conversation, and we did, about the dangerous rhetoric this president is using and the threats that he's made to use our military in an unlawful way.
Specifically what?
Well, send troops into Chicago, send troops into polling stations, kill terrorists' families, arrest and execute members of Congress, shoot peaceful protesters in Lafayette Square. Need I go on? He has a history of doing this. And if we wait until the moment that he gives a manifestly unlawful order to a young soldier, then we have failed them. We have to start that conversation now and get people thinking about the distinction, which is exactly what we did.
Yeah. So
our military is not pawns. We're not in some game. This is deeply personal to me. This is the story of my platoon that got stuck. I mean, we got stuck in the middle of a political game just like this. Almost got us killed, thrown in the brig, facing charges. At one point, the U.S. military considered turning us over, U.S. soldiers, over to the Iraqi court system so they could prosecute us where we'd likely be hung ourselves. Oh, you didn't hear about this story. Hold my beer. It's in this book. This is the story of how stupid political clickbait videos like Slotkin's have real consequences. You remember this guy from the movie American Sniper? In 2009, my platoon caught that guy in real life, the Butcher of Fallujah. He was also the man responsible for hanging 4 American contractors, one of which was a SEAL brother of mine, whose body was lit on fire, dangling from a bridge by his neck. My team caught that guy. We were authorized to use lethal force, and we exercised restraint to bring him back alive for the betterment of the mission, because we were one part, and we did it at great risk to ourselves. And because of orders, so he could be questioned by the CIA and save more lives. Imagine if we had violated that order. After all, we knew he killed one of our own, and he had a gun when we apprehended him. So, honestly, like, Democrats, don't ever lecture me and my people on restraint and decorum. And when we brought him back, the same people who sent us on that mission, they turned around and court-martialed us for abusing him in custody, which we clearly did not do, which was proven by our full acquittals almost immediately in a courtroom, all because politicians wanted to have the talking point that they stood with the Iraqi people over their own soldiers. And the generals, whose promotions need to be approved by the Senate, people by like Mark Kelly and Alyssa Slotkin, they bent the knee and they sacrificed me and my team at the altar of their political correctness. And you know what it did? It made every soldier in Iraq and Afghanistan second guess everything. Hesitate to prosecute that IED. How many people did that kill? Apprehending terrorists, or even pulling the trigger when they needed to. Hesitated for their own safety in a courtroom that might not come. Stuff like this gets people killed. It creates stupid rules of engagement, some of which killed my friends personally, because they want to play political grandstand games with no intention of ever backing the soldier up when he does the bidding that they subtly encouraged. This is why people hate politicians. They pop off like there's some moral authority without listing a single specific thing that Trump has done illegally.
Yeah, complete and total backfire, okay? As the President of the United States is doubling and tripling down, specifically on Alyssa Slotkin and other Democrats going to jail, right? He's saying they should be in jail. He says, quote, "The traitors that told the military to disobey my orders should be in jail right now, not roaming the fake news networks, trying to explain that what they said was okay. It wasn't and never will be. It was sedition at the highest level, and sedition is a major crime. There can be no other interpretation of what they said." Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is, right? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And Democrats are winning a stupid prize right now, and they're boohoo, whining, crying foul. But the reality is that Republicans, they are essentially siding with the president on this, right? They are saying, well, yeah, this was a very stupid video that you put out, and it is what it is. And we're not going to be lectured by the same people who supported Jay Jones for attorney general in Virginia, who openly fantasized about killing Republicans and kids, the same people that openly celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the same people who were disappointed when President Trump survived an assassination attempt, multiple assassination attempts. Yeah, we're not going to be lectured by those people on political violence. We're not going to be lectured by those people at all. And Byron Donalds here is going to take down reporters one by one, trying to gang up on him about what the president said.
Anything like that. So now they're going to feign outrage because Donald Trump responded to their words that do yield to insurrection? Please.
But the president has been...
Stop. No. And this is where I'm going to push back. Because what they are doing is trying to throw literally a grenade into the room. It goes off. And then they're going to claim outrage? They have no moral standing to claim outrage because they decided that they were going to be cute and put out a TikTok video trying to get likes, trying to demonstrate that they're tough enough to stand up to President Trump when Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief, not Mr. Crow, not Senator Slotkin. They are not the commander-in-chief. And like I said before, they would not tolerate any Republican launching any video like that when Barack Obama was president of the United States. You know it's true. I know it's true. Everybody knows it's true. But now they want to feign outrage and have everybody come and ask them how they feel.
Facts. If Republicans did this to Obama, they'd be saying, oh, Republicans are racist. They're trying to undermine a black man. They're trying to get the military to disobey a black man, right? That's what they be saying, right? They be so upset about this. If a Republican put out a video like this with a Democrat in office, they'd be losing their minds.
Man, stop. We're tired of the games and the charade. The American people are looking for real answers on energy, on immigration, on affordability, but they want to be cute. So yeah, I'm not going to give them any standing about, well, how do they feel? That's BS. They knew what they were doing. They created a political stunt to get a response. And they didn't like the response.
In terms of what the president said, are you comfortable?
Administration using oil and gas leases?
Yeah. Look, I think when it comes to Florida, we've been clear in our state. We do not want drilling off of our coastline. And so we're going to work with the administration to still protect Florida's coastline.
So, sure. Are you comfortable with what the president said, suggesting that members of Congress should be put to death?
No, but the president also said that they should have to actually stand by. You have to investigate those words. What they're calling for is sedition. 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 Let me ask you a question. What are the penalties of sedition in the United States of America? What are they? The president's not calling for it, but they're the ones that started this foolishness. And I will grant you, this is a foolish political stunt created by people who are trying to get their name ID up, who are trying to demonstrate that somehow they're the standard bearers for our constitutional republic when their own words are in violation of our constitutional republic. You cannot have elected members. I don't care about your politics. This is not even a political deal anymore. You cannot have elected members tell our military men and women, tell the members of our intelligence community that you don't have to follow orders from the commander-in-chief. That is nuts. And as people who actually put the uniform on and serve this nation, they should know better. But they're playing politics. That's what's wrong.
Can I ask you about the controversy with two of your colleagues from Florida, Corey?
Yeah, so it is nuts, right? So nuts that Alyssa Slotkin ran to the mainstream liberal media, boohoo, whined, and cried, and when confronted on specifically what unlawful orders has President Trump given that you want members of the military to not follow, Of course, she had nothing, right? She laid an egg when asked about, again, what are these unlawful orders that you're warning about? Take a look.
They're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful.
Is that an accurate statement?
So I think the reason we put that statement out is because the sheer number of, frankly, young officers who are coming to us and saying, I just am not sure. What do I do? You know, I'm in Southcom and I'm involved in the National Guard. I'm just not sure. What do I do? And I think, look, you don't have to take my word for it. We've had report after report of legal officer, JAG officers coming forward and saying, look, I push back on this. I'm not sure that this is legal. There is such things as illegal orders. That's why it's in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Going back to Nuremberg, right? And it's a totally benign statement. And if the president is concerned about it, then he should stay deeply within the law. But I think it's important to know it's not hypothetical, right? This president in the last administration, his last administration, asked his Secretary of Defense and his chairman of the Joint Chiefs to, quote, shoot at their legs at unarmed protesters in front of the White House that he wanted moved.
Actually, I know you're talking about Mark Esper's book. He didn't exactly say that. He said the president suggested that, but they were never ordered to do that.
And he got out of the Oval Office quickly so that he wasn't told to actually do it. And I give him a lot of credit for that. I give him a lot of credit.
So let's talk right now. Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes.
Let me read you what Senator Lindsey Graham said about your video. You owe it to the men and women in the military to be specific about what you are talking about. What these senators and House members did was unnerving, and it was unconscionable to suggest that the President of the United States is issuing unlawful orders without giving an example.
Yeah. So for me, my primary concern is the use of U.S. military on American shores, in our cities and in our streets. We've seen now the courts overturn the deployment of U.S. military into our streets, including here in Washington, D.C. When you look at these videos coming out of places like Chicago, it makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is a very, very stressful situation for these law enforcement and for the communities on the ground. So it was basically a warning to say, like, if you're asked to do something, particularly against American citizens, you have the ability to go to your JAG officer and push back.
And with these service members calling you, couldn't you have done a video saying just what you just said? If you are asked to do something, if you are worried about whether it is legal or not, you can do this. It does imply that the president is having illegal orders, which you have not seen.
I think for us, it was just a statement widely, right? We say very quickly and to all the folks who come to us, this is the process. Go to your JAG officer, ask them for explanation, for top cover, for their view on things. We do that on a case-by-case basis, but we wanted to speak directly to the volumes of people who had come to us on this.
And it is very clear that no one should follow an illegal order, but it's very murky when you look at what is an illegal order. And if you go into morally, ethically, that's a pretty tough thing to look at and say, how do I navigate this?
Look, if you're going back to Nuremberg, right, that, well, they told me to do it, that's why I murdered people, is not an excuse. If you look at popular culture, there's you watch, A Few Good Men, we have plenty of examples since World War II in Vietnam where people were told to follow illegal orders and they did it and they were prosecuted for it. So the best thing for people to do is go to their JAG officer, their local law enforcement or a legal officer in their unit and ask for some explanation, ask for help. And that's what we've been advising people to do.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. She just completely laid an egg on national television. So you put out this grandiose video. Oh, you don't have to follow illegal orders. You don't have to follow unlawful commands from Hitler. Right? Nuremberg. Right? This is what they're saying. But when confronted specifically about what illegal orders are you talking about, she has nothing, right? She admits, well, to my knowledge, I'm not aware of any illegal orders. So again, what was the point? What was the point of putting out that video, right? Because if people are coming to you personally and saying, hey, I don't know what to do, then yeah, I mean, they can do what you recommended, which is to go to their supervisor or their higher ups and to figure it out. But that is different than the video that they put out, right? And what they said in the video, especially what they implied in the video, which is that the president was giving illegal orders. So when confronted on what are those illegal orders, well, I don't know, right? To my knowledge, I'm not aware that he's actually put out any illegal orders, which again, that goes back to what people have been saying the whole time about the point of the video. The point of the video was to undermine the president, to create chaos and confusion within the military in order to, again, undermine the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, which, you know, hey, can be defined as seditious behavior. Because if you're going to make those type of statements, if you're going to put out a video like that, you better articulate exactly what you're talking about. What illegal orders are you talking about? And when confronted on that, they don't have anything. So again, what was the point of putting out the video? It was to undermine the president. And they want to cry foul now that they're finding out they're getting backlash for what they did. Again, these Democrats, one day they're going to learn, man. They're going to learn Trump derangement always backfires. That's the biggest problem with the Democrat Party right now. They don't think logically about anything, right? They just act out of derangement reflexively against the president. And when you do that, you end up in weird situations like this, right? You end up getting embarrassed on national television because she can't even articulate exactly what she's talking about. What illegal orders were you talking about? Well, I don't know, right? Embarrassing. So embarrassing for Democrats. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.